I never want to play classic Sonic again after this. Sonic Generations is a game I hold near and dear to my heart because of its fantastic level design, beautiful scenery, and the gameplay is addicting to replay. But what would happen if you took away a core component from the game? Aside from becoming permanently traumatized, the result is not exactly the best time, in which for this challenge we are banning the boost, spin dash, and the drop dash. If at any point I need to do one of those actions, there will be a counter at the bottom right corner of the screen. With all that out of the way, is it possible to beat Sonic Generations without any variety of boost? Let's find out. Starting out in Green Hill Act 1, this is where we're introduced to our method of movement during this challenge. A casual jog. One thing I will point out is that while we're not allowed to spin dash or drop dash, I will allow rolling when it's necessary. Momentum is going to play a huge factor for these classic levels because since we're forbidden to use any of those abilities, it is crucial that for some parts we keep our speed up to make certain jumps or slopes. Luckily for us, we managed to stick to the top path for the most part and finish the level with no issues. Unfortunately, we're forced to see the light and are told that the only way back is to find the Krabby Patty's secret formula. With our quest in hand, we head over to the next act. This level is pretty easy to do without boosting. Most of it is just a straight line, and I stick to the top path for a good amount of it. Initially, I thought this giant fish would be a problem since we can't boost, but luckily with all the boosters on the rails, we evade it easily. After some more platforming, we smash this bridge and slowly jog to the end of the level. However, the only thing I really want to end is my existence because the pain this level has induced upon me has ingrained itself so deep into my cranium, I see 3 different colors. At first, everything seems okay, it's just regular old chemical plant. I stay on the top path and everything is fine until I reach this part here. Unfortunately, I don't have enough momentum to clear this loop, so instead I drop to the bottom and well, that wasn't exactly going to happen, so I end my life and try again, and again. And again. Eventually I do make it, but it was all for nothing as I'm brought to the same spot. So I decide to explore the bottom part of the level and have no luck with that either. My only hope was this slope. Fortunately, there actually is a solution here. If you manage to make this jump through the loop, you can get enough speed, and if you jump the tiniest amount at the right time, Sonic won't lose all of his speed, allowing us to reach the top of the hill. Afterwards, we make it to the end of the stage. Despite now being prescribed an obscene amount of pain medication, Act 2 fares much better for us. One thing to note about modern Sonic that is quite unusual here is that unlike classic Sonic where hills respond somewhat normally, it's a little bit automated for us, giving us an unironic boost. Oh god, it's Sonic 4. After doing some more platforming, we make it past the slide, and sadly we can't make it to the top path, forcing us to go into the water. However, it proves no issue for us, and you see what I mean? Luckily, the rest of the level is extremely straightforward, sliding through these enemies and finishing the stage. Sky Sanctuary is one of those stages that isn't actually that bad to do. The stage is pretty cramped, so in general, there isn't a whole lot of space to spin dash anyway. We casually stroll along in the level before reaching this part. This is one of those instances I said at the beginning where I am allowed to roll if necessary, so we carry on before reaching this part. You think this is where our perfect run ends as we have a massive wall with no boost. However, Sonic Team has blessed us with some speed shoes, allowing us to barely make it. After Sonic's had enough of this challenge and end his life twice, I shake in my boots thinking this would be the end, but luckily we're able to run fast enough as to not fall into the abyss, ending the stage. Starting out in Act 2, what the fuck was that? Again, with this stage, it's kind of the same with Act 1, where much of the platforming is very tight, so moving around isn't that big of an issue. This bodes well for us, as this level is very platforming heavy, so we're able to easily breeze through most of it. Once I reached the end, I again thought for sure this would be the end, but I was still able to escape the falling stairs, ending the level. Now that we've cleared the levels, it's time to go into the challenge acts. Luckily, unlike Shadow Generations, we actually have the luxury of choosing which ones we want to do. I start off with this one, and for the most part, it's a simple obstacle course. While the falling platforms do give a little bit of a scare, as long as you're quick to jump dash to the next platform, it isn't too much of a problem. Do this a few times and we reach the goal no problem. The next challenge I decide to try has to be finishing the stage with 1 ring. Initially it goes well until Sonic decides to get illegally injected by these spiked balls. Afterwards I retry the level several times. I eventually get so annoyed with it, I move on to save some time and try a different challenge. I decide instead to go with Amy, and this was infinitely better. This one relies on her hammer jump to boost me up, and this mostly relies on platforming, so that makes it extremely easy for us, completing the stage. Afterwards, I decide to take a break and fight Metal Sonic to collect the Chaos Emerald. Initially, I thought this fight would be a problem because the whole time the ground is falling behind us, and losing speed at any moment would mean certain death. Luckily for me, I managed to lock in and dodge all of his attacks and hit him. Even with his drill attack, it's no match for me and we easily defeat him. The next challenge I took on was incredibly easy. All I have to do is use these warp points. None of them are in hard to reach areas, so we beat the stage with no issues. After taking all the keys we collected, we're able to unlock the gateway and find something interesting. We finally find our first clue as to where the secret formula is, and it's being guarded by Eggman of all people. We go after him and take on the first boss, the Death Egg Robot. This fight is pretty straightforward. The arena is really small, so no spin dashing is required. The second phase is all about baiting it into the mines, allowing us to reach the top of the head to deal damage. After getting smashed and fisted a few times, we finally deal the final blow and finish the boss. After meeting up with our past selves, we deduce that the secret formula is hidden away in the next area, making us venture deeper into the white space. Heading into Speed Highway, it's actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. As we start to head into the more modern levels, more dash pads are going to appear to help us out, which is fantastic news. We do some more platforming, manage to take the top path, and then fall straight into the abyss. This time we're forced to go down to the bottom route, but luckily we managed to climb back up and reach the helicopter. Eventually we make it to this area where in order to progress, I have to use the momentum of these walls to reach the spring, so I have enough speed to clear it. Afterwards, we reach the end of the level. The start of Act 2 is extremely easy. In fact, I feel so confident that I would go for the shortcut, but instead I taste the sweet release of death. 4 times. After politely breaking down this glass wall, I climb up the 2D section before making it to the chase sequence. You'd think you need to boost or the glass would hurt you, but no, you just go through it like normal. In the 2D section, I actually end up finding this alternate path that I never knew existed until now, and it proves very useful, being mostly automated. After some drifting, we make it to the end of the stage. The beginning of City Escape is pretty simple at first, with only taking the top path to avoid any trouble. Unfortunately, right off the bat, my pepperonis get wiggled because I just barely don't have enough speed to get over this wall. I tried for a long time, getting as much of a head start as I can, but no luck. I was on the brink of giving up and using a spin dash before on one lucky attempt, I was able to get just the right amount of height as to where the game carried me up the rest of the way. Sadly, the gun truck had other plans for us and has made it its life mission for us to become a train track with how much we're getting ran through. Once we climb up this tower, I make sure to grab the speed shoes as this is crucial to make sure we escape the final chase and finish the level. After committing, well, many crimes against humanity, we're able to breeze through most of this level with not much trouble. Once I make it to the 2D section, I stick to the top path until reaching the scariest part of this challenge so far. For the truck chase, I have to be extremely careful because while I'm fast enough to outrun it still, it's able to get really close to me and use its saw blades. Fortunately, as long as I keep my distance, the saws aren't a huge deal until we make it to the end sequence. I thought for sure it would be the end and the truck would be an insta-kill, but luckily we're able to damage boost through it and end the stage. The beginning of Seaside Hill is relatively simple. I'm forced to drop down to the water level and carry on there, but it's pretty easy to navigate. After some platforming, we run into yet another problem. I take the bottom route and continue on with the level as normal before my progress is halted by a loop. No matter how much speed I get, even through the cannon, I'm not able to clear it. So is that it? Well, I did say I took the bottom path, so let's see what the top path offers. After admittedly a few more times than I'd like, I make it there and fall on the lower path on that alternate route. Unfortunately, this yet again results in me being cock-blocked by the loop once again. Trying this again, this time I stay on the top path and jump into the cannon. This allows us to go into a smaller loop, giving us the speed needed to clear it, and after getting chased by these massive boulders, we finish the level. For Act 2, a good chunk of the stage, I'm able to stay on the top path without running into any issues. It goes along pretty smoothly until reaching this section. I'm not able to get enough height to clear this jump, so I drop down to the bottom level. Luckily, this path leads to a cannon, which I can then go to the top path and take the go-kart. Afterwards, I run along this wall, clear the 2D section, and avoid these bouncing boulders before coming to the end of the stage. After freeing SBL, we return to the white space to do some more challenges to unlock the next boss. The challenge I chose for Speed Highway is Overdrift, and well, it's exactly how it sounds. All you need to do is drift to reach the end. Aside from bumping into the walls a lot, this level is extremely easy. Before taking on the next challenge, we pay a visit to Shadow and ask if he'll help us into our birthday suit. Him being absolutely disgusted, he decides to fight us. Here we run into a huge problem. This fight is a race. A special race to see who's the fastest. This fight revolves around using the boost to catch these pink orbs to power up. So there lies the issue. How do we catch up to these orbs? Well, Shadow's AI in this fight acts like a rubber band. He won't boost too far ahead of us and won't start boosting again until we run past him. So the solution to this is to wait until Shadow is close to the orb and then run past him to snatch it ourselves. It takes a while, but eventually we get the first one and then something weird happens. For the second orb, Shadow's AI completely breaks and stayed behind in one spot, not moving at all. This could not have been any more perfect because this gave me the perfect opportunity to grab the second orb, and no, this power-up does not count as boosting. After slapping him around a bit, we finally finish the fight. For the City Escape challenge, I go with the Cream mission. Most of it is a reskin of the main stage with a heavy emphasis on platforming. After getting a call from Jesus, I press these switches and finish the level. Okay, so I kind of bounced around a bit for this challenge. At first, I did this challenge where it was about testing my skills as much as my patience, so eventually I quit and tried something else. I tried this one where I have to boost along the water. Wow, what a fantastic choice. Eventually I settled on a classic stage where most of it is underwater. It was a little bit annoying, but whatever, it got the job done, and I finished the level. At last we finally got another clue as to where the secret formula is, but it's being guarded by perfect chaos. Since we can't boost over the water, we have to get a little creative with our approach to the first phase of the fight. Most of the time I stick to the top path and drop to the bottom on the last part so I can hit the dash pads that will send me through the boss. Other times I'll drown in 2 feet deep water. During the third part of the first phase, don't go to the right. Instead, wade through the water to reach the middle, which you'll be carried up to the top path. Follow it and you'll be brought to a dash pad in order to hit the boss. During its second phase, all you have to do is dodge the debris, watch out for the unstable ground, and make your way to the top of Chaos's head. After dealing the final blow, we're able to finish the fight. Unfortunately, we pieced together that Chaos was just another decoy in order to find the secret formula, so we have to venture deeper into white space. Prepare yourselves because it's pure hell from here on out. Most of Act 1 is pretty good to us, being straightforward platforming, dodging all the fire, and taking all the upper paths. That is until we reach the section in which I'm once again unable to clear this wall no matter how many times I throw myself at it. Luckily, by getting these speed shoes down here, I'm able to get up the wall and then jump to clear the gap. Unfortunately, all my happiness gets stripped away once I reach the end with the fire tornado. I tried over and over fighting with the controls because of the lack of speed as well as the unpredictable knockback from the wind. After many attempts, I'm finally able to clear the level. However, I'm happy to say that this level provided some much needed relief for me. After a quick 3D section, which is pretty easy, most of the stage is in 2D. The good part is that when that happens, it usually is a lot of tight platforming, which I can rely on the air dash and stomp for most of it. Once we make it out, we head into the fire tornado section in which we have to dodge all these incoming debris and finish the stage easily. I am never playing the stage again for as long as I live. The beginning is pretty simple with the standard level design we're used to. Here, once again, it's mandatory to get past this gap, so we're allowed to roll to pass under. Afterwards, we head into the interior, dodge these barrels, and this is where you have to pay attention. It's essential you pick up these speed shoes on the way out, and you need to be fast, otherwise you'll be unable to clear this massive wall, and there's not a lot of time in between in order to get there. If you don't make it, you'll be soft locked and will be forced to restart. Afterwards, we reach this tower, do another mandatory roll to clear the gap, and this part broke me. I was here for so long, trying to find a way to clear this. The spring doesn't give you enough speed to run up the wall, and the platforms don't take you far enough to reach the section to the right. So, is that it? Is this where we finally surrender and have to spin dash? Well, no. The key lies with this enemy that comes in and shoots at us. If as soon as we arrive on the spot, jump on the platforms, pause the game and wait for a moment on the second platform, the enemy will arrive and we could bounce on it to reach our destination. If you mess up at any point, you're once again soft locked and have to restart. Fortunately, afterwards we're able to climb up this clock and we have to spin dash to activate the clock. This is an instance where I'm gonna leave it to you guys to decide because we don't use down plus jump like we would to activate a normal spin dash. Here we have to hold X. For now I'll leave the counter as 0, but let me know in the comments what you guys think. Afterwards, we go through the airship and finally finish the level. Fortunately, we've been blessed by an angel from the heavens with a modern Sonic stage after the absolute torture we've had to endure, and not the good kind. For most of this level, it's smooth sailing, doing our normal platforming and casual jogging. After clearing this balloon gap, I got worried because I thought these beta spikes would be an insta-kill, but luckily we just take damage and can carry on. The final section just has us dodging these laser robots, which is no problem, even if it was a little more difficult having to dodge the regular enemies too because we can't boost into them. Regardless, we easily finish the level. Planet Wisp. Ooh boy. Let's have a discussion about the Spike Wisp. I'm not going to count it, because even though I'm in a ball, I'm not actually spin dashing. There is an option to if you hold down the X button, but I will refrain because that will be counted as such. Fortunately for us, these cogs that require you to use the Spike Wisp don't require you to use the spin dash for them to move. You can just go forward. The thing is though, you have to be perfect and constantly refill your gauge, because since you're not going fast at all, you have to do all of that as well as climb up the wall afterwards in order to clear that section. Sadly for us, this game continues to make me clinically disabled because after doing that a few more times, we reach this area where it looks like it's impossible to clear this gap. I tried over and over going down this hill to try and get enough momentum to make it over, but to no avail. My only chance was to jump at the perfect time to reach these orange hoops, which will automatically send me there. After trying over and over, we finally managed to make it. Once we do some more platforming, we reach the final section, which after going down this hill, you need to grab this wisp gauge and use it after hitting the spring to climb up the wall. If you don't, you'll have to fall down and we'll have to die to retry. Luckily after this, we reach the end of the level. At last, we come to the last main stage, and compared to the last one, it's not too bad. We do some more platforming, and somebody want to tell me how I missed that? twice? Normally, I'm not a big fan of this level, but in this case, it turned out to be a blessing. Most of the stage is in 2D, which means, you guessed it, really tight platforming, so boosting isn't really needed unless you want to speedrun. We go through most of the factory pretty easily, using the rocket whisk to ascend higher and whatever happened here. Luckily, after slowly riding all these platforms, we reach the final area, which only has us using the rocket to ascend and reach the end of the level. After meeting up to grab the next Chaos Emerald and reluctantly setting Charmy free, we pick up our challenges for this era. The first challenge I choose is all about stomping, which bodes pretty well for us. We make our way through the level until this bullshit happens. What the fuck? Regardless, after popping all these balloons, we make it to the end of the stage. After collecting this key, I decide to take a break and do a detour to go fight Silver. For the most part, this fight isn't all too different aside from taking a little bit longer to reach him to deal damage and clipping through the floor. After hitting him a few times, we make it to the part I was really worried about, his meteor smash attack. I thought I would need to boost in order to stay away, but luckily I don't have to. However, you need to be sure exactly if you're close enough to Silver, because if you're not and jump at the wrong time, you'll lose all of your speed and die, having to restart the boss. Thankfully, that didn't happen to me and we finished the fight. The next challenge I decided to take on is this cart one, in which we have to ride them to reach the goal. This challenge isn't all that different compared to the normal act, aside from a bit more platforming, so it isn't too hard. After doing that for a bit, we reach the goal ring. The final challenge I decided to do is this one with the snowboard. This is probably the easiest one because it's the same as the original act, but now with a bunch of springs and ramps to help us get places. In this case, it might actually be even easier than the actual stage. Makes for an easy win. After collecting all the keys, we finally get our next clue on where the secret formula is. This time it actually is Eggman guarding that information, so we go to forcefully extract it from him. This fight isn't all that bad, but it does take a long time because since this is a chase boss, we don't get a lot of opportunities to hit him. The only times we can is when he's doing a slam attack or if we're quick enough in the 2D section because for some reason this ramp is bugged and won't let me hit him. Another section that gives us trouble is the skydiving section. Since we can't boost, we have to always be moving, and even then, the rockets still barely miss us by a fraction, so we have to be perfect. Regardless, we finally finish the fight. After putting all the Chaos Emeralds into the clocks, we approach the final fight. It's now revealed to us that both of the Eggmen have been keeping the secret formula locked away, and the only way to obtain it is through sharing our deepest, darkest kinks with each other. I tell him that's absolutely disgusting, we go to attack him, but we get smacked around. When it feels like it's the end, all of our friends tell us that we're pussies if we don't get up and fight like real men. So we do, turning into Super Sonic to end this fight once and for all. However, this is where we come to a big problem. This fight is not possible without pressing the boost button. I tried for so long to do it, but we literally do not go anywhere or make any progress. And because of that, we can't get any rings and eventually we just die. However, this is another case of a maybe, and I'll let you guys decide. Despite pressing the boost button, and yes, I am boosting, there is no actual boost gauge in the bottom left corner. No boost gauge means that it doesn't drain, so am I really boosting here? After thinking it over for a while, I'm going to give this an exception, so I'll keep the counter at 0, but you all can let me know in the comments what you think. With that out of the way, we finish the fight as normal and land the final attack. He's dead. We just pierced right through him as Super Sonic. How are you alive? And with that, the challenge is finally over. This challenge had its severe ups and downs, but I was really glad to replay this game again after playing Shadowside previously. I think it's still a fantastic game, and I definitely recommend trying this yourselves. However, we finally reached our conclusion. The answer is maybe. There are those two instances with the clock tower and the time meter that, depending on how you view those, this challenge could or could not be possible, but you all can decide that for yourself. I'm gonna sleep for an undiscernible amount of time. Thank you all for watching and subscribe for more.